Hey Budget fam, it's Jordan from Jordan Budgets. The camera is turned around on me this time. I almost put on makeup for you guys and then I thought, do I have to? So I did not. If you are new here, welcome. This is a cash stuffing and cash budgeting community. I do a lot of cash stuffing. I usually have the camera turned onto my desk where you can see me budget that way. However, today we are going to be on the computer. I get the question a lot about how do you start a budgeting journey? Like, step one, what do I do? Step one is to get control of your finances and know how much you spend on things. If you don't know how much you spend on things, it's gonna be really hard to break your money down into categories and get a cash budget started. So step one is to figure out how much you spend on things. There's kind of two different things you need to do for this one, at least the way that I like to do it. I guess I should preface this all by saying too, I am just a person on the internet. I am not a financial advisor. I am not anyone with any kind of degree to be doing anything like this. Give me one moment.
This is Anne, calling from healthcare.gov with
healthcare.gov. I do not need you. Okay, maybe I do need you. Anyway, I am not qualified to give financial advice. This is just my own personal budgeting journey and I wanted to share it with you guys. And that's what I do on this channel. You guys are staying tuned, so I don't know. Here we are. Before we pop on over to the computer and you see my actual budget, I want to say there's kind of two parts of this. One, you need to sit down with either a spreadsheet like I'm about to share with you or a piece of paper and write down all of your expenses, and we're going to get into that. The second part of this, while you guys have me on the screen here, is I'm going to reference writing down my daily expenses. I'm going to be using stickers and a planner to do that. Stay tuned on this video if you want to see how I spend all my money, because I will be tracking all of my expenses during the month of December. Okay, so let's pop on over to my screen. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see my screen. This is my income and my spending breakdown. Now, what you're doing at the beginning of the month is just making assumptions about what you think you pay for everything. I did not create this spreadsheet. I actually bought it off of Etsy for maybe $5 or $6. I highly recommend it. I like it. You can change these little categories like the bills, expenses, savings, and debt. However, I haven't figured out how to change it on the table over here, so I just left it alone for now. So when you're first starting your budget, when you're first starting tracking expenses and cash budgeting, what you want to do is put what you think you spend on everything and what you make on everything. So for Etsy, this is just a guess on my end on how much I'm going to make this month. However, I do think that I will make that amount on Etsy. YouTube, I will make, oh, let me check. Okay, a little sneak peek into my analytics here. Didn't expect this, did ya? For last month, I actually made $2,025. So let's go ahead and change that. $2,025 for the month of November for YouTube. So I'm gonna change that. Of course, I'm not taking into account taxes for this Etsy or this YouTube. My sort of assumption is that I will make enough on Etsy to go above that 2,000 and be able to cover some of the taxes from YouTube and Etsy. And I'm just gonna be kind of scrounging, hashtag real life. Okay, if you're new to this channel, I very quickly jumped into Etsy and YouTube full time, so I'm not even going to pretend or front that I'm doing everything correctly as far as my business expenses and my taxes. This is just, it is what it is, okay? This is my real budget. I believe I will be making $2,000 on Etsy and about $2,025 on YouTube. The YouTube is guaranteed money, the Etsy money is not. Hopefully, ideally, you have some kind of set income and you can plug those in, and then this will sort of, if you use the same spreadsheet, it will add it together for you. So my expected income is $4,025 for the month of December. After your income, of course, you're gonna calculate your bills. So my bills that I have are rent, preschool, gymnastics, I pay for water and trash, electric, renter's insurance. I also pay for a mother's helper. I calculated that it was gonna be 100, but it's actually gonna be 150 this month. And gymnastics, I pay 100, internet, I do pay my kids' allowance, so I save $30 for that. And then you will see an automatic down here. That is the automatic purchases that come out of my accounts automatically. I am tracking those this month, so I'm watching my accounts every single day to see what comes out. If there's anything that comes out that I did not realize I had or that I don't want to keep, I am going ahead and deleting that the day that I see, or like canceling my subscription to that the day that I see it. So Canva and then some Apple purchases, those are all things that I'm keeping. So just like I track all of my bills and I write those down, those are really easy to figure out. I don't necessarily have to track those throughout the month. I can kind of go through my accounts from past months and know how much I pay exactly in rent, how much I pay in tuition, how much I pay for gym, those kinds of things. You can put your budgeted amount, but you can also go ahead and put down your actual amount, and it should match up pretty well on those. Things that I track for expenses are kind of your day-to-day or your month-to-month expenses. So groceries, gas, fast food. I am adding one movie night where I take my kids to the movies and one dinner night where I take my kids out to eat at a sit-down restaurant once a month for each of those. And then medical, I have just one prescription that I pay for myself. And then family fun is the weekly sort of just, you know, take my kids to a trampoline park or something like that, something fun and out of the ordinary that we might need. That is something that I anticipate us needing. So the only things that you might see lacking here that might confuse you is I do not have a cell phone bill because I am sort of grandfathered in on someone else's plan to get a free phone, and I've kept that. And I will keep that because it's free for all of us. So I'm gonna keep that bill. So you will have a cell phone bill. That is a normal expense most people have that I don't have. For expenses on the day-to-day or month-to-month, most people have a medical insurance. I do not have a medical insurance under bills, nor do I have ongoing medical expenses except for that $5. So I am uninsured. And my children have free insurance. That is something I definitely need to figure out. My income is just in that middle bracket where I can't afford insurance, but I also don't get it anywhere for free, you know? So tis what it is. I will say that bills and expenses, your monthly expenses, those are things that people tend to be pretty good at covering because it's things that you kind of need. People need groceries, people need gas for their car, they need fast food for those really crazy days, and then you pay all of your bills because you need the roof over your head. These are things that people are really good at covering. However, you tend to overspend in groceries. We all tend to overspend in fast food. We tend to spend maybe more than we can actually afford in family fun, that kind of thing. So keep in mind, again, this is my real budget. This is not doctored for you guys to look any kind of a way. Now, one of the points in doing this too is to make sure that you are spending what you think you spend. So I think I spend about $600 in groceries. This is where this comes into play, okay? So I think I spend $600 in groceries, so that's what I'm putting on my budget. However, whenever I track all of my spending this month, I might find out that I actually spend $800 in groceries, and I'm gonna say, Jordan, that is ridiculous. You need to get it down to $750, $700, $600. So the whole point in tracking is to see exactly what you're spending and make sure you are spending what you think you're spending. If you watch my other videos, you guys know that I'm really big on getting 1 month ahead for the bills, and I have done that. So you can see all of my bills come out on the 1st or right at the 1st. That's something we can get into in the other videos. Just know that I do get 1 month ahead on bills so I can pay everything on the 1st, and I don't have to track that and wonder what's coming next throughout the month, right? So bills, expenses, we kind of covered those things. Okay, camera died, sorry. Okay, so we talked about bills and expenses. Let's move on to savings. If you watch my channel, you know I don't put a steady $50 into my savings challenges. I just did that because I wanted to see like the graph and what percentage I'm spending on things. I went ahead and put in like actual and budgeted. I do tend to put about $400 into my sinking funds, things that don't happen every single month, but things that you know are coming. So I know that when I move in about 6 months, I'm going to owe a lot of different places memberships, like the zoo or children's museum or wherever we decide to get memberships to for the year. I know I'm gonna wanna do that, so I save for that. Car maintenance, you never know when that's gonna happen, so I like to be ready for that. Haircuts, I pay about $30 a month for my kids to get haircuts. Sick days, I always buy fast food and a toy for the kids or something to keep us occupied when we're sick. So that's not for medication or anything medical. That's just purely entertainment and making my life easier. New phone, I know I'm gonna need a new phone at some point, so that is in my sinking funds. Car insurance, car tag, and AAA, all of those come around once a month. No, they don't. All of those come around once a year, so I go ahead and I have sinking funds for those. Savings challenges are basically sinking funds, but they're things that you might have a harder time saving for. They might be bigger things that are hard to motivate yourself for. So I actually have mine here. If you don't watch my other videos, we do sinking funds once a week and we do savings challenge stuffings once a week. But so like 50 envelope challenge, saving for a washer and dryer, saving for self-care, things that you might struggle with or that you just want to make it a little bit more fun. So somebody mentioned in a recent video if I could make a savings challenge card for saving for retirement. I think that is a great idea for a savings challenge, and I will create that card. Savings challenges could also be Christmas, because that comes around once a year and you might want to start saving in January. It's just a fun way to do your sinking funds. Honestly, you can interchange the two of these very easily. It's whatever you want to do, but we do a lot of sinking funds and savings challenges on this channel, so if you're interested, definitely watch some of the other videos on this channel. Okay, our last category before we talk about everything as a whole is debt. I do not typically have debt. However, I'm getting prepared for guinea pigs, which is a whole thing. I do not recommend going into debt for a pet. I'm in a little bit of a weird mom situation, so I'm doing it. And I did put $250 on the credit card to get ready for the guinea pigs. I also will need to purchase the guinea pigs and then have their first like little wellness checkup. So that's gonna cost me some money. That will also likely go on the credit card. Amazon credit card, I have an Amazon credit card. All of that is for business expenses. That is a rolling credit line that I always am putting money on and then paying money off. Again, I expect to make a little bit more than this $2,000 on Etsy. Thank you guys for supporting my Etsy shop. But I expect to make more than the $2,000, and if I do, I'll just easily be able to continue paying off the business expenses that I have on that card, and I do that on like a rolling ongoing basis. Things that are not accounted for in my budget that really should be, I completely work for myself now, so I really need to get myself medical insurance, business expenses, and taxes. I do hope that I'm able to make over that $2,000 on Etsy, and I think that I will because I have some things launching this month. Anything that is over that $2,000 will go towards taxes and business expenses, and then hopefully sometime soon I can get myself medical insurance. So that is a big overview on how to lay out the budget. And to recap, you really want to peg down your bills and expenses, and you're gonna do that by tracking them throughout the month. And then whenever you see how much you actually spend, then you can kind of try to tweak that a little bit to be able to allot more money towards your savings or your debt or anything you need to take care of on this side. You will notice that my actual on this spreadsheet is my budgeted amount. That is just because I wanted to be able to show you guys sort of the income, the breakdowns of everything. And this particular spreadsheet would not do that unless I put it in the actual. At the end of the month, we will be coming back and we will see what my actual is and how well I stayed on budget. So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be interesting. Also, I will be tracking my week-to-week expenses, and I will be sharing those, and you guys can see what I'm spending on a weekly basis and like keep up with those videos if you're interested. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to do it, I hope that that was not confusing. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I can be all over the place sometimes. Let's talk about my overview of like what is in my budget in case you're interested. So my expected income is $4,025, but my expected, like what I need to spend with this budget is $4,254.99. So I need to make a little over $200 more than what I even expect to make. So I don't know if I'm going to reach out and maybe try to get a sponsorship this month, or if I am just hopefully gonna do a little bit better on Etsy, but I don't want to take more than the $2,000 from Etsy because I do need to put some away for expenses and taxes. Typically I do have a little bit more for bills because Mother's Helper I'm paying less this month. I pay somebody to help me with my son's co-op, and that isn't lasting throughout the entire month, so it's not costing me as much this month. So typically bills are a little over 50% of my entire income. I know that's not ideal. My expenses are about 21.7%, at least that's my expected. And then my savings are going to be 18.8. That is my expected budget for this month. We will see. We will see what happens. I will pull this back up at the end of December, start of January. We will see how I did. We can compare We can compare the two, we can shame me, we will see how it goes. Again, I'm just sharing my real experience here. So that is it for this video. I apologize if it was a little scattered. When I'm doing, like, when I have the camera facing me, I feel like I'm even more scattered than normal. I'm probably not, it's just that you guys are seeing it more obviously. And as always, I thank you guys for being here, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.